everybody, can you hear me this time? I just want to check and make sure, put yes in the chat box. Hello, good morning. Okay, it looks like the mic is working and we are here for our third meeting. So I just wanted to kind of go over a few things with you really quickly. At this point, Unit 2, Module 1 should be completed. And so then we're moving into Module 2 from Unit 2. We'll talk about, at the end of our meeting, we'll talk about everything that is due. But today we have a great guest for you. So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk a little bit about career research at WCC. There are going to be a few collaborative questions, so if you are watching this video, make sure that you watch through the whole thing fully and catch those, and then we'll go over any questions that you may have at the end of our meeting today. But for today, we have Sandy McCarthy. She is a research librarian here at WCC, and she's going to be talking about researching information on your interest in what you're interested in your future career, that sort of thing. She's got a lot of great information and knowledge to share with you. Her contact information is up there right now. So I'm going to turn it over to her, and then we'll go over any questions that you have at the end.
All right, thanks, Megan.
Thank you.
All right, hi everyone, I'm Sandy. So I'm going to get you started. We're going to go to one of the guides, which I know is in the course too, to help you out with this. So one thing is, I'm going to go to the sites. We're going to talk about Occupational Outlook Handbook and also ONET. And what you're going to have is an activity. I'm going to turn off the camera in a quick second. You're going to have a set of questions that you're going to have to answer for your career that you're going to do. And I'll walk you through it, but it's fairly simple. But as you do this activity, think back about yourself. Do you match these skills that they're talking about? Is this like kind of like you in a sense, that your field that you're picking pertains to? And that's extremely important when doing this. So if you're missing the live portion today, I know that you need to email me 3 additional questions. And please also email Megan Gore, also your instructor, so that she's got a copy of it, and I'll follow up within 24 hours. So not to worry about that part. Any 3 questions that you have relating to career or anything, my career, anything like that will work just fine. So let me go over, and I'm going to turn off the camera here, but you can still see me, and I'm going to put that over. Okay, so let me go back, and I'm going to pull up my guide for the class for ACS 123. You'll have the assignment, which is these question ones. But I'm going to go to Occupational Outlook Handbook and ONET. Now, Career One Stop I pulled out. We used to go here too, but I found that over the years, Career One Stop, there was nothing unique anymore that I found with the other 2. So it's optional. It's listed here, but you don't need to go there. So Occupational Outlook Handbook, I'm going to click this link, but I just want to show you how to get here too. If you're not using the guide, the URLs are actually part of the career worksheet you're going to have to fill out. But you can go to Google and you can type in Occupational Outlook Handbook, and you're going to find the link here too, and you can get right there. So it's a couple ways you can get to our site that we want to. So this is my favorite. It's done by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This used to be a print source. It still is. It's a print book as well, but the website is far superior. It's updated a lot quicker too. It's probably pretty much how everybody uses it. But this is a great place to talk about careers, the duties, education, training, the pay, the outlook for the job. This is one of the best places. If you're trying to still decide what career to go into, come back here. So let me highlight a few things before we actually search our box in the top right corner. So on the left-hand side, you have occupation groups. If you are still not sure of a career, or you have it as a broader category, so maybe you are interested in, I'm going to pick on healthcare. You can always click on healthcare, and it's going to give you a list of occupations and some very just limited information, but then a link to the career, and you can find additional information on that. That is one way, I'm going to go back out, that you can look at these groups. They're very useful. There might be careers here you didn't think of that might be listed under those categories. The other thing to look at is down at the bottom, you've got a browse occupation by highest paying, fastest growing, and most new jobs. So the one thing is, as you're exploring your career, make sure it is paying well. It is growing. It's not a profession that's going to be on a downward trend or phased out or taken over by some other career. That's happening a lot too. And most new jobs, so that's like the projected jobs nationally and within the state level too. That's something to look at. There's some categories down at the bottom too, other questions that you might find useful, but they're there as well. So the other piece I want to show is under the category. It says select occupations by, and we are at community college. So that says entry level education. I'm going to scroll down to associate's degree. And I'm going to click go. And I wanted to show you some of the careers that they have listed here that require the associate's degree where we're at. So that's another way of getting you into career choices that are listed. And it gives you brief information, but then it's hyperlinked and you can jump into that area for doing it. And you can always look to see if we offer the program. A lot of these programs we do have here, not everything, but there's a lot of these that you'll find here at WCC. So it's something to look at as well. So let's go back. They highlight a featured job. You're going to notice this feature occupation. This kind of changes throughout the day, I've noticed. So that's something I just feature as well. So how to use this site? Very simple. I am actually using Occupational Outlook Handbook, or Occupational Outlook Handbook. I'm using Physical Therapy Assistant, one of our PTA program here we have at the college. So I'm going to type in Physical Therapy Assistant in the top corner and click Go. And I get to a list of results. You're going to end up with the same kind of results. So you're going to type in your career, and you're going to get a choice of careers listed. And usually the one you put in should be at the top level. So I'm going to click my PTA here and get into it. So the reason why I like picking on this career, like many that we have here at the college, is you can go through our program, go through a year and a half of study, maybe 2 years if you're completing the associates, and this will get you hired. You can be a PTA, work in the field, and go back and continue your education and getting a bachelor's degree, maybe even a master's degree in the same field, but you're working already in the profession, so you have that real work experience to doing it. So this is what I like about the PTA for listing. So on the summary page, you've got a couple things. They show you a little video clip. I found that this, you may not find it in every career, but they're getting better, adding more and more of like a day in the life of a PTA. And that's what the videos will do for you. Under the summary, you're going to have some answers to some of the questions you're going to be required to fill in. So like a job outlook, you're going to have a 30%. That's a high growing rate, by the way. Number of jobs. And then it's going to just list their median pay by hourly wage as well as your yearly salary. Okay. And then they've got additional information here, but these are the tabs that are going across. So when you're asked what they do, this is their duties. So I think one of the questions are name some of the duties for the career you're going to look at. It's listed under what they do, and you're going to find duties listed here in this category, as well as typical listed here too as well. Okay. Work environment, where you work. This is going to be one place. Also, one of the questions is going to say, where do you usually work? You're going to find it here. Most of the PTAs, 56%, are working in an office of some sort. Hospital is the second highest with 23%, and so on. And this is probably a good average as far as like every state. Sometimes states are different, and they will be different as far as when we looked at that portion of it. The next tab over, how to become one. That's your education. You're going to have a question that's going to say, what is the education that's required? Come to the tab, how to become one, and it's going to tell you if you need, what kind of a college degree you need, if you need a license, where you would get the license, things like that, and important qualities they highlight also. This is extremely important. So for the career that you're considering, make sure you're looking at the education and see what's required. But the PTA, I know that there's another category in here called the physical therapist, and that one is clearly, it's going to say the bachelor's degree or master's degree and so on. And I think even the PTA went to like a combined master's, PhD level too. So some of these health professions are becoming, thus educational level is changing as far as what the requirements are. All right, important category, pay. When you're looking at your career, pay attention to the pay. You need to survive, you need to live. The pay is going to give you an average nationally. I will show you with ONET how you can find the Michigan, like a pay scale that's listed there as an average. So you're going to find on the right-hand side a nice chart, and the PTAs are listed of 57,000. This is actually a pretty good paying job for getting through our program and starting off. And I believe what happens, they start around 46,000, they jump up and going higher. So you can only imagine if you continue with a bachelor's degree, what actually your salary is also going to jump. So there's a lot of benefits to continuing your education. And then also it depends where you work based on what your salary is going to be. So they're highlighting that down here by the facilities of like where you might be working and whether one is higher paying than another. Again, this is different, I think, per state. This is like nationally. I spent 1 year living in California. I did not work as a librarian. I worked at one of the vendors for the libraries for like an online catalog system. And in California, your salaries, this is true for my profession, but for all of them, your salary is extremely over the average cost because California is very expensive to live in. So keep that in mind as you're looking through. And so maybe you plan to move out of Michigan. Maybe you're not living in Michigan right now. Keep the cost of living as a factor with the states and when you're looking at pay. So this is going to be this information. Job outlook is the other one that's very important. So the PTAs have a job outlook of about 31%. This is great. This means that once you finish your program, you should have probably a very easy time to finding a job. And that's another thing you want to look at. You want to be able to, while you're in the program and immediately when you finish, get a job. Get a job in that field. And the job outlook is going to help you out. So they project it. The Occupational Outlook Handbook will project this for you, and that's why there's this 2016 to 2026 number. And down at the bottom for everyone, there's a listing, there's a little chart, and I think one of the questions will ask the outlook, so you can put in 30%, or you can put a number, like the growth of like numbers that they project for openings. And we have an aging population with a lot of the health programs. There's a lot of increase in demand for these professions in here. All right, so state and area data. There's some links here for you, but I will show you this in the ONET. That's going to give you a projected outlook specifically with Michigan and also the pay. So I'm going to skip over that part. All right, and one of your questions also is going to be to list 3 similar jobs, and you can come to the second to last tab and you're going to find this information, but ONET, the other site we'll go to, will give you that kind of information as well. Okay, and one last piece, one of the questions will say some additional sources for you to look at. The last tab, more information. Become familiar with the state level or even local level or national level of associations that pertain to your profession. It's a great way to network. They usually post a lot of the job openings that are going on, but it's a great way to, even at the state level, go to the conferences and talk to your colleagues and learn to network with people and get more involved with your profession. So before I move on, I want to stop for a quick, 20 seconds. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to wait that you can enter questions into the little chat box, and I'll wait before I move on, give you a chance to ask. All right. Okay, so I'm feeling that everyone's pretty comfortable here with this, so we're going to go to the ONET. I'm going to go back to my guide. I have it opened, and I'm going to go straight out to the ONET, but again, the activity sheet will give you a direct link, and you can type in the URL, which is this one. It's just onetonline.org, but same thing here. Whoops, I misspelled Google. You can go into any search engine, type in ONET, and it's going to pull it up right up front for you. Okay, so let's go here. So this site, they actually complement each other, these two career sites, and ONET provides even more detail for you. So real quickly, they have a lot of little features for you. Find an occupation, there's an advanced search, there's a crosswalk here, connect with other data with ONET that's listed, hot tech jobs. If you're a veteran, they've got a second listing here, a link that you can go to and kind of talk out, maybe get some feel of how you can apply your skill level of being in the military. And there's other pieces that you can look at too. And this one is just the same thing, everyone. You got a top box, and I'm going to use my physical therapy assistant. Whoa, if I can spell it right. Assistant, and press enter. All right, and you get a list of results as well. So they have little sunshines. And our PTA has even the bright outlook wording. The little sunshines means that these careers have a bright outlook. So when you're searching for yours, look to see if it has any kind of notation. That does not mean you should not go into the field. It just means that these have a really good outlook for you and easy time of finding a position, a job when you get out. So these are also other related careers that you can actually look at even with a PTA. So I'm going to click the link. So their outline is more of a like task and skills based. Their information is listed with categories for you, and then they list the top 5 underneath these categories. We're going to look at the summary. I want to highlight the detailed screen, which is the link that says detail that I clicked on, and they expand the information even more for you as you go through here. It is your choice, whichever format you want to look at, the summary or the detail. I'm going to go back to summary, and you can get to that detail by really, the outline for task, for example, it's 5 of 18 displayed. You can click the little plus sign, and you get all of those 18 tasks. So you're going to have a couple of questions that are going to be very specific to this page here. And as you read the task for your career, relate it back to yourself. Is this something that you as a person do on a daily basis, so then this career kind of matches up to you. The last thing you want to do is get into a career because you think it's a great career to get into, but you don't really love it. And so then you find out too late as you went through your education, you get into it, and you're finding you need to do something else. So I have several friends. I started off as a law librarian, and my training was in that. My graduate degree is obviously library science. My undergrad is a political science. I started off as a law librarian, but to work at a university, I needed a law degree, and I had no interest in going into getting a law degree to be a law librarian. But I have met many individuals who finished a law degree and had no interest once they got into the career. It was not for them. And so what were they going to do? And so they've looked at continuing their education. Some became librarians working at a university. Some go into other fields with that career path. So the idea is look at this activities to get you to look real closely at what you're looking at as your career that you selected. And as you go through here and answer the question, and by the way, you have 2 careers you're reviewing, so that'll give you a good idea of comparison. So here they have knowledge. What knowledge do you need? They have the skill level, so really active listening, monitoring, speaking, service orientation, and they're going to define it for you. What abilities they're requiring of you, work activities, and then they go into detailed work activities, work context, zone, job zone. Here's the important part about the education. They're saying you need an associate's degree. Credentialing refers to any kind of state certification. Do you realize some of these links take you out, like further out into an area you may not be off the track of whether you need a license or not. I think the Occupational Outlook Handbook site did a little better job as far as like linking you back to the state level. So what interests are in this field? Work style, work values, other occupations. So the important piece here, everyone, is make sure you come down to wages and employment trends. So they give us the same numbers as Occupational Outlook Handbook, but now they have the state wages. So I'm going to click here, get a pop-up, and we're in Michigan, so I'm going to use Michigan, and I'm going to click go. And so for the question, it's going to ask you about the pay, and it's looking for Michigan. You want to make sure that you're coming to the ONET site. And long-term, on the high level, Michigan is the red bar. Michigan is paying more than the average nationally. So there must be a good demand here in Michigan. So starting off, you might be a little bit below the average, but long-term, if you stay at the PTA level, if you were in this career, you'll end up making more than the national average. So that's pretty good. So realize the question's going to ask you your start pay. You use the numbers that say low. That is where you're starting. Now, you may start higher than this, but for this activity, just use the low level number, okay? Now, the table, you can view it in hourly wages. So this is by the hour, how much money you would make. You can go back. You can also view, there's a map here where my cursor is, view map. When you click that, it populates Michigan and keeps blowing it up. And it gives you by county, and you'll see on the right-hand side, the legend, what the average of the average or low, the number as far as like what it's paid. So there are some counties in Michigan that there's higher paying, probably a higher cost of living. And notice the Metro Detroit area is blanked out. That's like Oakland County. I think even Washington County is part of this Wayne County, and maybe they just don't have good numbers to give you. Okay, I think this one, yeah, Battle Creek area, yeah, makes sense. Kalamazoo, Battle Creek area. It's a higher pay, it's a higher cost of living out there. All right, so you're going to get some good information. I closed it out. I'm going to bring it back up real quick. If you were going to move to another state, let's say you plan on going to Florida, you can look up that other state and see what the average is. And even, so look at this one. So Florida, if you are a PTA, your average starting salary is like $10,000 more than the national average. So they're doing pretty good. Almost plateaus out evenly when you get to long term. So this is fun. All right. And the other piece everyone needs to know is this employment trends. That's going to be about your job outlook as far as numbers. So let me pull up Michigan first, and we're going to look back at Florida. All right. So here you're going to have these percentages and job numbers nationally and within Michigan. So you're going to get these. This is going to be the information that you want for answering the question as far as like that projected listing for you. There's also a view map they did even with this. It's probably very similar. And here's our Michigan. And it's only giving it based on the state, so it's not like breaking it down to a county. Okay. So we'll go here. So those are ONET. When you're dealing with the questions that deal with cost and job outlook, do make sure you come here because you're going to get it down to the Michigan level. So down below, they just have a couple other links listed for you that's going to be here. Okay. So these two sites will answer both all the questions for you. If something's not clear, do reach out. But you should have a fairly easy time answering. They were straightforward for the same as the categories that are listed here. So I want to wait if you have any questions on this, dealing with anything with careers, before I end what I'm presenting. Everyone have, maybe you can put a little yes in the box. Do you have your 2 careers picked out already? You've got those selected? Yeah, some of you do. Okay, good. All right. All right, perfect. All right, great. All right, so this is going to conclude my session. I'm just going to reiterate again, if you missed and you're watching the video, you're going to email me 3 additional questions on top of the assignment. The PowerPoint, again, has my email address that you can email, and do CC Megan Gore, your instructor, on the email too. And I'll get back, usually answer right within the day, unless it's at night. Should I turn the camera back on? Or
Oh, you're fine.
leave it on?
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome. Did you want me to?
Oh, yeah. All right. Yep. I'm
Thank
just gonna wrap
you.
things up.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Thanks to Sandy for coming in and sharing that information with us. Last thing I want to do is just go over what is due. So again, Unit 2, Module 1 was due by just a few days ago, this past Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So you should be working on, or almost completed, Module 2 from Unit 2, so that's by tonight. Your Journal 2 should be completed, and your time management planning for Unit 3 should be completed. And then, of course, if you are watching the video, you need to complete the alternate assignment, answer the collaborative questions from the PowerPoint, and then email Sandy and copy myself on it for those points there. So, what questions do we have about any assignments that are coming up, or what we should be working on? Hopefully you've all had an opportunity to check the grade book to make sure that you aren't missing any assignments. If you are missing a grade for something that you feel that you completed, you need to email me and let me know so I can make sure I get a grade in there for you. And I'll be doing a little bit more grading today. So by this evening, everything from the start of the class through tonight should be Unit 2, Module 2. Your Journal 2 is due, and your Time Management Planning Unit number 3 is due. Does that answer your question? Okay, perfect. Are there any other questions? Go ahead and type them into the chat box. If not, go ahead and put an N there so that I know you don't have any further questions. All right, perfect. It looks like there aren't any other questions, so I will end our meeting for now. Keep up the good work. Keep working ahead if you can. And if you have any questions, of course, email me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Enjoy the day, everybody.